Welcome to Cosmetic Networks Live, where we explore the aesthetic and the cosmetic industry from the inside out. Hi, I'm your host, Sheila Maitland, and this is episode 35 for September 27th, 2013. We have a very special guest with us today, Dr. David Hopp. He is a plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills, but he has a very special focus as the president of the Los Angeles County Medical Association in Beverly Hills District. Welcome, Dr. Hopp.
Thank you, Sheila. Good to be with you today.
We're so glad you're here today. Boy, you have some really interesting things I can't wait to start talking about. But first, I want you to share with everybody what inspired you to be a plastic surgeon.
Sheila, originally when I went to medical school, my thoughts were to be a general surgeon. I didn't really know too much of what it was like to be a plastic surgeon until I got assigned to the plastic surgery rotation as a junior medical student. At the University of Chicago, the plastic surgery division was in charge of the burn unit, and I spent 4 weeks working with burn patients. And as a result of that, I learned really what plastic surgery can accomplish, and it was inspiring, truly inspiring. I went on to do research at the University of Chicago and also doing a senior rotation in Scotland, and it was just a never-ending, inspiring process.
You know, I hear that story a lot when I do these interviews, and I think that is really awesome. There's very few that just say, you know, I knew it from when I was born. They've developed and created and fallen into it and just found a passion that they've spent years and years and years being involved in, and I think that's really awesome.
If I hadn't had that rotation in medical school, I don't know what I would be today, but I found my career immediately.
That is exactly what they say, and then you're hooked, right?
You are totally hooked on it. It's a great profession. All the things we do are really, they're fun for me. There's never been a day that I've ever gotten out of bed and said I don't want to go to work. Not even one.
Boy, that is a gift for sure. Let's talk about your hobbies. You loved bicycle riding, cycling, but one thing that you love to do, I also love to do, so I can totally get this, is you're an avid flea market discoverer. And share with me some things you're looking for when you're out there for the flea market.
Sheila, I originally got pulled into going to flea markets because a friend of mine collected vintage watches, and I thought, oh, those are so cool and so neat, and I went, and once upon a time there were a lot of vintage watches, and it was kind of fun buying and then selling, and then your taste change. And today there aren't nearly as many available because a lot of people have gotten interested, but by going to the flea market and just listening to all the different vendors, you learn about everything from old manuscripts and books to artwork and jewelry, a whole variety of things. It's a little bit historical, but certainly is a distraction, if you want to say. That is, when you go to the flea market, you're out early doing something you don't do all week long, that's for sure.
It's kind of like getting lost in a really good book of history.
Absolutely.
Going back and wondering how many people have touched this specific item.
Once I found a manuscript from the University of Chicago, my alma mater, and it was a book that was written in 1917.
Oh my.
And five physicians from the University of Chicago had written chapters predicting what caused certain diseases and what would be the treatment. And the University of Chicago didn't even have a copy of the book.
That's
unbelievable. And so I think I bought it for maybe $2 or $3, and it was in perfect condition. And I contributed it back to the library, and they were so happy to have it. And that was a great experience for me. But when you read the book, my gosh, 4 out of those 5 physicians predicted the cause of diseases and what the treatment would be. And that didn't come for another 40 or 50 years.
Oh,
it was amazing.
Goodness. That gives me goosebumps. I think that is so exciting, and that's definitely what makes it so fun to get out there and to find those finds.
Yeah, it is fun.
Yeah, that's great. Well, another one of your passions is inspired by the United Collective Voice of Physicians, and this is really important. As the president of the LA County Med Association in Beverly Hills District, you find a passion in representing all types of physicians and their efforts to constantly improve medicine in the world. Can you share how you got involved in that?
Sheila, here in Beverly Hills, we have a very high concentration of physicians, and the quality of the physicians is outstanding. I'm talking about not just plastic surgeons, which we all hear about, but cardiologists, internists, all of the specialists in both medicine and surgery are well represented here. Many of them are on the staff at UCLA or Cedars-Sinai. But what we find is that because of this high concentration of very, very expert doctors and surgeons, that we're called upon to be involved in a lot of charitable causes, and we give willingly and in a way that is so generous that when we've had several political or legislative problems that which in some way doomed doctors in general, there was no real ambassador to speak on behalf of the physicians, and that's a role that I've stepped into to both on one hand help doctors of all types, surgeons and internists, specialists, to be exposed, that is to put their best foot forward so that the community knows who we are, and at the same time for the community to absorb the generosity of all the doctors and reflect that by not giving them specific heavy taxes, which is one problem, one issue that came up recently, that there was going to be a specific tax on doctors and their practices, or there was going to be a specific tax on operating room facilities as if they were hotels. And someone needed to speak collectively for the physicians, and that's where myself and the Los Angeles County Medical Association stepped in. Going forward, as you might perceive, there is going to be a lot more governmental intervention, but I like to think of it as a partnership. If the doctors have a dialogue with all the government agencies, then maybe we can work together truly for the good of the community, and so that care is delivered at a high level to everyone, not just the few.